Uguo maracakaire na niĩ nĩ ũrĩa baba arathikirwo ri. Ndamera baba witũ arathikirwo biti 4. Angĩkorwo no mwende baba witũ agathikwo biti 6 ta andũ arĩa angĩ rĩ, umĩrai mũnyitĩrĩre na mũnyumagarie twethe Martha Koome. Baba one kĩhoto gĩake na ithuĩ tuone kĩhoto gitũ. Wandu ũguo no gũingĩra thikĩrĩria. Wa Matangi ũmenye na arĩa me hakuhĩ mũno na Wa Matangi mamwĩre na mamwĩre nĩ Wairimũ wa Mbũrũ wauga atĩ gĩtĩ kĩu mũikarĩire na Rosemary wa Kĩrĩka, mbeca iria mwekire nacio campaign nĩ mũthuri ũcio wa mũnengerire. Mũgũnda wake eka 10 mũkĩendia mũgĩthiĩ gwĩka campaign. Mũthuri ũcio ũrathikirwo ta ngui, mũthuri ũcio ũrathikirwo thinacara ya hwaĩ-inĩ Wa Matangi. Ũririkane ũthiĩte kwa mũthuri ũcio mũgathi mũgaikara thĩ ũguo mũkaria na mũthuri ũcio agathikwo nĩ kaunti ya Kiambu ta ngui, tondũ onao ene nĩ matwĩrire mũthuri ũcio agathikwo nĩ kaunti ya Kiambu. Wa Matangi ngwenda gũkwĩra ũũ, nĩ kũrĩ Ngai matu-inĩ na Ngai wa ihinda rĩngĩ. Ũririkane ũũ, mũthuri ũcio ũrakoraga ũcio mwathire akĩmũnengere mbeca ciake, akĩmũne mũgũnda wake mũkĩendia mũkĩona mbeca cia gwĩka campaign, no tũrĩte wonete ũndũ ũyũ na ndũrĩ waria. Na rĩu baba nĩ athikwo na athikwo ta ngui, o ũkirĩte hau ũkĩmenyaga ũrĩa wekire na ũrĩa wathire ũkĩhenia mũthuri ũcio mũkũrũ. No muone hihi ta mũrĩ andũ anene mũno, no nĩ kũrĩ mũndũ ũngĩ ũtuaga andũ anene na nĩwe Ngai. Na nĩ ngwenda kũmwĩra no ũkorwo Ngai aretĩkĩrire mũhotane cira ũyũ nĩgetha one ũrĩa mũngĩthika baba. No rĩu Ngai matu-inĩ nĩ arona ũrĩa mũrekire. Mwĩyate itu, ingĩrai Facebook muge ũrĩa mũkwenda. Josephine athi na mbere kũruma arĩa ũkwenda kũruma, ona wenda kũroka kũruma Wandu oroke mũrume. Ũkĩmenyaga ũũ atĩ hau baba mũramũigire.
Since at this recess I've gotten new instructions. The instructions are that, Your Honor, the court rendered its decision on the 16th of September. We filed our application on the same day, but seems that application has been overtaken by events because the subject matter, the body of the late Kinanu, was picked at night and buried at night. And therefore, if the subject matter has already been buried, our application has been overtaken by events. However, we shall move into a competent court to seek different orders for exhumation. Your Honor, in light of that, we urge that the court marks this application as withdrawn by being overtaken by events. That's all, Your Honor.
Now, good morning, members of the Fourth Estate. My name is Stanley Kinyanjui, an advocate of the High Court. There is a matter that became quite interesting sometime last year when an individual by the name Mboro Kinani passed away sometime in November last year, and whose body has been preserved and had been preserved at AIC Kijabe Mission Hospital. We were given instructions to stop any intended burial by third parties, which we did, and we moved the magistrate court, and orders were issued accordingly. The people who gave us instructions were the biological children of Mboro Kenani, and they were contesting that the late mzee Mboro Kenani ought not to be buried by strangers. And I say strangers, I mean his stepchildren. The magistrate court later on delivered its judgment and granted our clients the right to bury their father. However, unbeknownst to them, the respondents, who are the stepchildren of Mzee Mboro Kenani, moved to the High Court and sought a stay of those orders. Now, a stay again was granted by the High Court, and we agreed to dispose the matter by submissions. However, in between, we noted that in the supplementary record of appeal that was filed by the appellants, there were documents which had been sneaked in and which had not been filed in the lower court. We then filed an application to expunge those documents from the supplementary record of appeal and from the court record. However, the court, in its wisdom, decided that these documents were properly on record. And on the 16th day of September 2025, the court delivered that ruling, and thereafter, without giving any indication or even some small time and leave to appeal that ruling, continued and delivered its judgment. The judgment, in essence, came to overturn the decision of the magistrate's court and allowed the burial of Mzee Kenani by his stepchildren. Immediately after the judgment was read, we were informed that the correct way to put in an application for stay of execution of that judgment was through a written formal application. The same day, slightly past midnight, we filed an application seeking a stay of execution of those orders that emanated from that judgment. At the same time, we noted from the CTS system that at 5:27 p.m. on the 16th of September 2025, the firm representing the opponents, that is the appellants in the High Court matter, had requested for a decree. Now, ordinarily, one would think and suppose that all these documents having been filed out of court business hours, the same would be considered the next day. And true to that, the decree, or rather the request for decree that was made at 5:27 p.m. on 16th of September was efficiently and quickly acted upon, and a decree issued barely 24 hours later. However, our application, which we had also filed, did not get any directions. We waited for directions for the entire day of 17th, and the directions were neither forthcoming, neither was there an indication of any orders being made. Later on, we were informed by our clients that shortly after the judgment was read on the 16th of September, their step-brothers had already gone to AIC Kijabe Hospital and requested for mortuary fees and all expenses that were pending, and they even brought with them a casket to carry the remains of Mboro Kenani. On the 17th, I'm also reliably informed that the hospital was served with a decree that, as you can remember, I said was efficiently extracted within a span of 24 hours and served with that decree and the judgment. Now, the hospital had no any other thing or other step that they would take only to release the body of Mboro Kenani, which they did. And Mzee Mboro Kenani, as we have been informed, was buried on the 17th of September 2025 at 6 p.m. in the evening. Now, that then put us in a quagmire where we could not understand and appreciate what had happened to our application. Surprisingly, our application was given directions a day later, that is on the 18th of September 2025. Remember, this is an application that was filed under certificate at a few minutes past midnight on waking up for the 17th of September. So we had no other option but to withdraw that application, bearing in mind that it had already been overtaken by events. Nonetheless, we are still firm on the route that we are about to take, which we are ultimately going to see that justice is going to be served on our clients, despite the selective efficiency of the judiciary in this matter. Thank you.
Briefly, my good friend Mazshet Kinyanjui has highlighted how inefficient or efficient the judiciary is. Of great concern is that a man was buried at night without any ceremony. And this trend has happened. Now it is becoming a common practice that once a decision on a burial dispute has been issued, the body is buried at night. We shall be moving to seek orders to exhume the body, and we shall also be petitioning the CJ to give practice directions that whenever a burial dispute, a decision has been made, let there be an automatic stay for either 10 days or 14 days to allow parties to file an appeal. Because once the subject matter has been buried, the course of action changes from stopping burial to exhumation. And this is a serious issue that we have seen now as a common practice, where people are buried at night without the family members. Mburu Kinani is a father of the deputy governor of Kiambu. That is a very prominent person. Being buried as a dog is completely repugnant to morality and to justice. But we have instructions to pursue that issue should be done. And if the courts will uphold that the burial must be at Gilgil, then it must be done when every member of the family is present and all burial rites are performed by the public and by members of the public and the family members. Thank you very much.